Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. Just me talking about stuff from the week when this was recorded, which was a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. What have we got for you this week? Birthdays, illness, and yeah, that might be it. Oh, yeah, games, movies, TV, entertainment stuff. That's the stuff that people are here for. Before we get started, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Drop reviews, leave a 5-star review wherever you can. iTunes, Spotify, places like that. And share the podcast around. Right, let's get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Hey, how are you doing? Are you well? Are you feeling good? Are you having a good day? Having a good week? Oh, what's going on? Oh, can't do anything on this computer without it opening something. Well, it's 9:15 at night. I suppose it's not as bad as previous. And do you remember when I thought it was hilarious to talk about drinking a coffee at 11 o'clock at night and how it was a great idea or a terrible idea? It was a terrible idea. I was awake until 2 o'clock in the morning, just like, why? So, I just finished a coffee before sitting down to record this. The things we do because you forget there's a coffee in the fridge. Anyway, so one of those weeks. I think by Thursday last week, I had one thing written down, and I was like, "Oh man, the way I'm feeling at the moment, I might end up getting to Monday and just being like, well, I've got nothing to talk about, so it's either going to be real fast or not bother with." And then, as is sometimes the way, just things unfolded. So going back to Thursday of last week, my youngest daughter is going to be celebrating her birthday. However, it feels very much like she's become one of those, like, you know, when this is going to sound really bad, but you know when like certain types of women, when they reach like late 30s, 40, sort of early 40s kind of area, they do that thing where they're like, oh, it's my birthday and I'm celebrating for an entire week or a whole month of birthday celebrations. My daughter's basically been doing that. It's hilarious. It's like something every day. So it's been a bit like, people will be like, oh, is it your birthday today? She's like, yeah. I'm like, no, it isn't. Like, oh. So, yes. I think it's organic. I don't think she's orchestrated a week's worth of birthday celebrations, but anyway. So, kicking off the festivities, my daughter was going out for the day, and I was staying at home because I had to work. So somebody had to stay at home. So that somebody was me. And in the morning, before everybody left the house, my daughter was saying that she didn't want something to eat, something else to eat. She'd had some breakfast. She didn't want anything else to eat because her tummy felt poorly. And it's one of those, children of a certain age, you know, sometimes they say things, and what they say is not what they mean. There's sometimes at that age where you have to do as a parent, it's like, do you need the toilet? And it amazes me how sometimes the answer is yes. Like, go to the toilet then. You know, that sort of age. However, for somebody like me, with my past, my history, my ears pricked up and I went, oh, saying she feels sick. And I'm like, I always have this instant dread with anything like this. So I don't know if I've talked about this before. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. When I was little, I was a little person. Largely, I was very poorly. I had absolutely everything wrong with me, and that was life for me. One of the things that I suffered with, which is just crazy, is I used to get that excited about stuff that it used to make me ill. And I mean like vomiting, kind of absolutely wiped out, asleep on a bench, kind of ill. So a lot of special occasions would be ruined, and my parents reached a point where they realised, just don't tell him anything. So it gets like the day of things, like, right, we're going out today. All right, where are we going? Just out. And then we'd arrive somewhere. And it was that not given the opportunity to get excited seemed to have a better effect. And if I'm honest, I think there are other aspects that I've carried some of those things on into later life. Not so much the being sick from excitement, but certain things around sort of excitement that I think I was talking about a couple of weeks ago. So, instantly I hear that she's feeling poorly, and put two and two together. She knew she was going out. She knew where she was going. She knew she was going for a day trip. All of this, I'm like, probably want to keep an eye on that one. So I didn't want to worry anyone. I didn't want to panic anyone. I didn't want to cause a problem for a day out that I wasn't going to be a part of. So I was like, oh, I'll just leave it. So they go out, they set off. I get a message a bit later saying 45 minutes into the journey, there was a little voice that said, Mummy, I'm going to be sick. I was like, oh no, here we go. So, I was like, well, was she sick? No, she wasn't actually sick, but that's what happened. I'm like, oh, okay, well, worth keeping an eye on her. And then I got a series of regular updates throughout the day, which were just basically updates of how many times she'd been sick through the day, at which points she'd been sick, and the fact that she was really hungry and she'd eaten all of her lunch, having been sick multiple times, and then, oh, yeah, she's been sick again. I'm like, yeah, this is sounding familiar. Then they were driving home. They phoned me on the way home. I was on like speakerphone in the car. I was like, "Oh, how are you doing? How are you feeling? All this." Yeah, I'm fine. So that was that. They hung up. Said they were stuck in a bit of traffic. Then I got a phone call a little while later. Oh, do you want to come out to the car and help us bring stuff in? Like, why? Oh, because literally 2 seconds after we spoke to you, she was sick. Like, oh man. So then this conversation ensued. I'm like, oh man, I really hope, it's always a worry for me. I always hope that none of them would ever get this. It's awful. It's terrible. It's only in recent times that some stuff's come up, the like stuff I've read and stuff I've listened to, that kind of sheds a bit of light onto some of the reasons why I was that way when I was a child. So I was like, I can't believe it. You know, I just hope that this isn't a thing, and maybe in the future, not going to have to tell her what she's doing and where she's going, and she's got all this stuff to look forward to coming up over the next week, and she knows about it, so she's going to be sick all this time, and all of this worry. Next morning, I'm out walking the dog, get a text message telling me that apparently it was my son's turn to be sick, and obviously it turned out at this point that it was going to be a bug rather than the excitement. I was weirdly, I was relieved. Then spoke to my sister, not yesterday, the day before, at which point she revealed that 2 of the 3 members of her household were sick at the start of the week last week, and they'd come here last week, and it's like, interesting. So, touch wood, crisis averted. One of the other things, by the time that they were all going out for the day, I was so ill. Which again is something that I feel like I've been saying for weeks now, as I spoke about, I think it was last week, if you go back 3 years, almost to the day, I'll have been talking about how ill I was. Starting to come out of it now, which is something, but it's just been the absolute worst. So, yeah, there's been a lot of sickness recently. It was not only a multitude of things going on over the last few days. Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a bit of a weird one in our house. So I was faced with the task of doing Mother's Day. So I spoke to all of them. What do you want to get? What do you want to get? What about this? What about that? What about the other? I was like, yeah, actually, funnily enough, you've come up with something that I'd already thought about. So that's probably a good idea. But I've realised something recently. I'm trying to work out if it's just me being selfish or something else. And in that scenario, in that line of questioning, it's probably going to be obvious which it is. But anyway, I'm trying to work out if I'm selfish or... So if you said to me, hey, it's your birthday coming up, is there anything you'd like for your birthday? I could give you a list, as long as my arm, of stuff that I would want for my birthday. I'll do it right now if you like. If it was the other way around, and I was like, hey, that person's birthday's coming up, I've been saying to people that it feels like, almost like a toilet flush of the moment I have to think about buying gifts for other people. It's like my brain empties, and I go, I've absolutely no idea what to buy for that person. What do you want? You tell me what you want and I'll buy it. Because I haven't got a clue. I haven't got the brain capacity. I don't have the ability to think about what to get for other people. And I don't consider myself to be a selfish person. I'm more in the camp of, if you do something for me, I'll do something for you. A friend recently did like a favour for me. They didn't have to do it. They could have said no. Instead they said, yeah, absolutely. They did a favour for me. And then I called round a couple of days later. I was like, just thought I'd drop off a little token of appreciation for what you did for me. And they were like, I didn't need you to pay me to do it. I'm like, I'm not paying you, I'm just saying thank you. So yeah, but you didn't need to. I'm like, but I wanted to. That is how I work, how I operate. And I want to celebrate other people's thing. It's your birthday, it's your whatever event, whatever. I want to celebrate that with you. But as for what to get you for it, I have no idea. There's just nothing there. It's like someone came in the night and took away the ability for me to be able to conjure what it is another person might want. I honestly don't understand it. Like I say, I'm trying to work out if it's me being selfish. I'm like, well, I tell you what I want, but I can't tell you what you want. So, Mother's Day gift buying. The other thing was I left it until real late as well. Not intentionally. So I'm like, right, I'll just go to the shop and find something. Because the whole process backfires on me when I say to the other person, what do you want? And they go, I don't want anything. Don't get me anything. I don't want anything. It's like, well, that doesn't work, does it? Of course I need to get you something. So anyway. Like, what about this? No, I don't want that. What about this? No, I don't want that. All right, well, what about this? No, I'm good. Oh, sweet Jeebus. So I took myself off to the shops and I was like, right, if you can't give me like a definitive item you want, you are getting the standard box of chocolates, bunch of flowers. So I went off to the shop and I was looking through like the quote unquote Mother's Day gifts. And I was like, my God, it's some tat. It's just garbage. And everything I looked at, I was like, that's not actually that bad. That could actually be quite nice if it wasn't this. Look at something, it's like, if you'd have done something different, that'd actually be good. Every single thing I picked up, like at a distance, like, that could be something. And you pick it up and you're like, but it's not. It's a terrible item that's probably going to go into landfill when nobody buys it. Just, so many things I was like, I could get this. Oh, no, you've ruined it. So I had to muddle through the best I could. So, finally got back to working out. That's right. Yes, working out. Lifting weights. Lifting tiny weights. Yes, I was cleared to work out, which is what I do. So I was like, cool. I'm like, let's not be silly here. We don't want to cause any injuries. So, and part of me was being like part of me was having a laugh. I loaded a quarter of the weight onto the bar. A quarter of the weight that I was lifting before I broke my arm. And I was like, well, I'm sure we can always add to it. Just get a baseline. That was funny. So I lay on the bench. I was like, all right, here we go. I pushed the bar up. And as I started bringing it down, I went, it weighs too much. I've never experienced anything like it. I've had points in time where I've like not worked out and then I've gone back to it. I've had like big blocks of time, small blocks of time, all sorts. But just the complete non-existence of any strength, any power, even just the ability to hold the bar up with weight on it. I was like, I am struggling. So I've been taking it steady, I've been taking it light. Typically, part of the reason that I started recording this as late as I have was because I was working out. Did a full workout this evening. Last week was more of a lighter sort of getting back to it kind of deal, whereas this week I've decided to do the full workouts just with lighter weight. So I just have to work on the principle that it will steadily start to come back. So yeah, I mean, it's good to get back to it, but wow, it was a real shock. Like, wow. Like I say, my youngest daughter has been having a week's worth of celebration for her birthday. Saturday we had her birthday party. Lots of people. We went to one of those, I don't know what you call them, soft play things, like a big one. And on the surface, I was convinced that it was going to be a good party. I was like, oh, bless. She's got proper friends invited. She's got like party guests, and like she's got sisters, and her brother's going to be there, and family's going to be there, like granddad and granny and nana, and obviously me and Leon will be there. All of her siblings. It's gonna be good. And then she's gonna have all these friends, and it's gonna be fantastic. I don't know how many times I said the phrase. I never expected it to be like this. On more than one occasion, my daughter came to me, distressed, and I was like, "Oh, darling, what's wrong?" She's like, "I don't have anybody to play with." Like, darling, one of your friends is standing right next to you. Why don't you go and play with them? It was... I get it. I understand. It's one of those where I'm going to go, I don't get it, where I actually do get it. Because I do get it, because at a certain age, friendships are strange at a certain age. Like, oh, this is my friend from preschool. Okay. But it's not like a friendship. It's just the person you talk to while you're there that once you leave the confines of that building, you have nothing to do. Even if you saw them in the street, you have nothing to do with them. They only exist in those four walls. So in a different setting, in a different scenario, they are almost like a stranger. It's that kind of thing. So the number of not once, the number of times I don't have anyone to play with. I'm like, Dan, you've got 10 friends here. Play with one of them. And then I'd look around and it's like, there was the friend that she invited who turned up, shoes off, went off to play. Didn't actually interact with my daughter when she got there. Just off she went, playing. Cool, get stuck in. My eldest was allowed to invite a friend. She invited a friend, they were off playing. Middle daughter, she was allowed to invite a friend. She invited a friend, they were off playing. And then, obviously, my youngest daughter, it was her party, so she had all these friends from like preschool and friends that she's got from I don't know what you call it, like the Land's got some friends and they all had children at the same time, so she's got these friends. She had some friends from dance class, but you rarely saw any of them together. And then you'd find really weird combinations, like my youngest daughter with my middle daughter's friend. Why are they together? And then my middle daughter with my youngest daughter's friend in two completely separate places. Like, what is happening right now? One of her friends that was invited, I don't think I saw them interact in the entire... I don't think they were in the same place at the same time in the entire time we were there. It was on paper, on the surface, it was going to be such a fantastic time, a great time. She was going to have a wonderful time, all of her friends, all of this. And it wasn't a disaster. Nobody died. Not like I saw a child. No, I didn't see a child. I heard a child come down this giant slide. There was 4 of them, and they were all holding hands. And when I saw it, I went, that's a recipe for disaster. That has the potential for being a terrible disaster. And as they're coming down the slide, they're getting faster and faster and faster. And I don't know if it's because they're all linked together that they're going faster than they should be individually. And on the last bump of the slide, one of the children left the slide. Went off the bump, went up in the air, and because they were all essentially attached to each other, she turned on a side and came down, landed, and all you could hear was head impacting solid plastic. And I was having a conversation with my eldest, and I partially saw it, but I definitely heard it, and I went, oh my God, I felt that. Oh, and I was trying to have this conversation with my eldest, but I just kept going, oh man, oh, that must have really hurt. Oh my God, that must have really hurt. Oh, I felt that. Oh, that's gone right through me. So didn't have any of that. But, they all went and they had some food and they all sat in the same room. So at least at that point, they were in the same place at the same time. And I don't want to be the guy who's like, I expected more. I didn't expect more. I was like, there's a party and there's people coming. And it wasn't a disaster. So, you're up by the numbers. But, wow. And it's one of those places that it's like, it's warm. So you're like, oh man, it's warm in here. And then you go into like the party room and it's like, are they pumping heat into this room? This small confined space with all these people in. I was like, I need to go and check on something out of this room for a long time because I think I'm going to pass out. But it was all fine in the end. I think it was fine. So, I wrote something down. I've been really battling with something recently. Not something you would expect. Not like, when a few weeks ago I was dealing with some real bad depression. No, it's not that. I've been battling with something recently. And what I've been battling with is a book. I bought a book. Now, I say this every time, but I'm sure that comes as a surprise to some people. I did buy a book. What might be a bigger surprise is I buy books a lot, and I actually read them. I think the reason I go on about it so much is because it's a surprise to me. I bought a book. Now then, we're already off to a bad start because the book in question was a lot more expensive than I would pay for a book because I bought it on the Kindle. If you want £6 for a Kindle book, it better be good. If you want more than £6 for a Kindle book, you can. So that's where we are. That's my stance on things. If you want £11.35 for a book on the Kindle, that book better be giving me a happy ending, let's put it that way. Because £11.35 is a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money. In Kindle book terms. I was after this book for ages. I really wanted this book. I really, really wanted the book. To the point that I was like, do you know something? I think I'm going to have to pay £11.35 for this book. Then I realised it's not £11.35 at all. Because I'll probably have to buy the audiobook of it because it's going to be so good at £11.35. It's going to be such a good book that I'm going to want the audiobook version of it as well, so that when I've read it, I can listen to it. So it was going to cost me £20. I bought the book. I bought the audiobook. I spent £20 on the book and the audiobook. And promptly, even though I was in a book already, I promptly set about reading said book. Now then, before I bought the book, I did read a review. And it was a negative review. And the negative review said, "This book is only about this. If you want a book about this, it's only about this." And I thought it was going to be about this. And I went, that's just somebody being overly negative. And in hindsight, I really wish I'd paid attention to that review. Because this book is very highly reviewed. It's great, it's fantastic, it's wonderful. I think I may have spoken about it recently, now that I think about it. So this might be money for old rope. I have finished the book now. I will say this, about 1/6 of the book was the stuff I was interested in. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 1/5 of the book was what I was interested in. The rest of it was essentially on one subject. And let's just put it this way, not the reason that I bought the book. The book I wanted to read was the 1/5 of the book that I read. And I'm just like, you know, when you just think, how have I been so misled on this? How have I been so, like, oh, this book is going to be, it's going to be so good, it's going to change your life, especially for the price. I feel a bit robbed. Because I'm going to have to listen to the audiobook because I paid for it. It wasn't even an Audible thing. I bought the audiobook. So I'm going to have to listen to it. I feel so robbed. Oh, man. As I was saying, it was Mother's Day yesterday. Now, we in our house don't do Mother's Day on Mother's Day. We do Mother's Day at a different point in time, which, as I think I may have mentioned last week, we did Mother's Day last week. And that was that. Or so I thought. What are we doing today? It's Mother's Day. What do you want to do? You will do anything you want. What do you want to do? Knowing full well that you can't go anywhere on Mother's Day. You can't go out. You can't go places. It's one of the worst days on the roads. And we all know this. Oh, we could go to that place that we went last weekend. Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's going to be quite busy there. Yeah, but if we go early, it might not be. Okay. I mean, I guess. So that's what we did. As I'm sure I mentioned last week, we went to check out a vegan cafe. Sorry, a plant-based cafe. And it was fantastic. We loved it. Now, in our house, one of the things we do is we tend to find somewhere we like, latch onto it, and just literally strangle it to death. We just go and go and go and go and go and go and go until eventually we get poor service or a bad cake. And then it's like, place has gone downhill. Can't go there anymore. And then we find somewhere else to strangle the life out of. So twice in 2 weeks. I think we know where this is going. Anywho, I was like, we'll drive down, the car park will be absolutely rammed, and we'll leave. As it was, we drove down and drove straight into a parking space. I was like, okay, that's that. And we went, and they were very much like, look, you do know it's Mother's Day, don't you? Like, yeah. But, we just thought, on the off chance, they're like, well, we can do you, like, coffee and cake if you want. Like, absolutely. I'd love some coffee and cake. So that's what we did. And we went and sat, and here's the one. Here it is. We went and sat outside. That's right. First outdoor seating for, months. It'll be months. I didn't have a jacket on. The sun was glorious. Sunglasses on, absolutely. One of those points in time where just, when it's like, it's Sunday, you're sat in the sun, you're drinking a coffee, sunglasses on, a little spot of cake, kids are playing, and you just take that small, tiny moment in time to actually be thankful and that you're actually enjoying. You're there. You actually have that opportunity to enjoy that singular moment. So I did that. I just sat for a moment. And was like, "This is nice." Took some nice pictures. Realised to get a nice picture. With my youngest daughter, don't tell her to smile. You just have to make her laugh and then take a picture. So took some nice pictures of the little guys, and it was just a nice moment, a nice time that you feel fortunate. So then I got seeing as it's Mother's Day, yes, if you wanted to do something for me, I might cast my mind back through the multitude of presents that I bought and the fact that we'd gone out for coffee and cake. Like, go on. A car could do with a clean. Like, And obviously it was said in jest. So in the afternoon, I said to my youngest daughter, I was like, do you want to come and clean the car with me? Yeah. Come on then, let's go clean the car. As a man, is there a finer job? Is there a more satisfactory job than cleaning the car? Is there when you step back, once you've finished and you say that car is done, and you step back and you look at it and you go, that car looks glorious. When you're just so used to looking at the car and be like, that's what it looks like. And then you clean the alloys and you go, my God, those alloys look amazing. They're sparkling. That kind of situation. And you look at it like, the car's paint job isn't bird poo. This sort of stuff. And the windows are actually clean and, So, me and the youngest daughter spent a bit of time cleaning the car, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, she got bored of so far through and decided to throw in the towel, quite literally. And I carried on and got the car washed, dried, didn't wax it, but did do the alloys and the tyres and the windows and stuff. And it just be able to take that opportunity to step back, look at it and go, yes, that car is clean. And those are rain clouds. So, something else that happened yesterday, something fantastic that happened yesterday, having had broken arms, a 3-week-long illness, and a multitude of other things to take me out of the game. And by the game, I mean the running game. My running has just got less and less and less and less and less. There was not 1 but 2 days last week where I didn't get up in the morning to run because I was so unwell. And then obviously it just means that you've got like a whole day of it. You gotta get on the treadmill in the morning, get on the treadmill at lunchtime, get on the treadmill in the evening, and maybe even get on the treadmill again. I had one of those one day last week. So yesterday, walking, might have even been walking the dog, walking along the street, and all of a sudden I was like, ow, my toe hurts. Carried on walking, carried on about my day. I was like, that toe hurts. Toe really hurts. Carried on walking, going on, the day goes on, and I went, I know that feeling. That's the feeling of an ingrowing toenail. So the big toenail on the big toe, right foot. By the time I got my sock off later in the day, I was like, what the hell has gone on here? Because it went from fine. It wasn't like I'd cut my nails any time recently. It was fine at one point, and then it wasn't. And it wasn't just like, oh, it's a bit sore. This looked like one of those like Looney Tunes cartoons where somebody gets hit in the foot with a hammer and it blows up like a balloon. That's what it looked like. So come this morning, having done emergency nail maintenance, come this morning, I was like, oh, this is one of those situations where the books and things that I've been listening to recently would tell me to just run through the pain, get up, get out there and get running. However, there's a small problem. I can't walk on it, let alone run on it. So I've had that to deal with. Another excuse not to run. Just what I needed. And finally, for the week, today was a very traumatic experience. This morning was a very traumatic experience. This evening was a very traumatic experience. The boys' first day of nursery. And somehow, I don't know how this came about, somehow it became my job and responsibility to drop him off for his first day of nursery, all on my own. So, I knew it was going to be a shit show. But hey, what can you do? Got to do these things. Got to be brave. So, drop my daughter off at preschool, go over to nursery, go in, and he'd had that settling in session that wasn't brilliant, and now he's there. So we went in, and he was like, you could see he was like, I kind of recognise this place. I think I've been here before. So I was talking, and I was like handing a load of stuff over. Here's his bag, here's his coat, here's his other bag, all this. I was like, here's a list of instructions. So then the lady was like, hey, would you like to come to me? And he's like, yeah, I'll come to you. Come to you. You're new. I'll talk to you. That's fine. So she took him off me. And it all happened in like this fluid slow motion. Because as he went to this lady, he obviously realised what was happening. And he turned to look at me, and in all of my life, in all of my years, I have never seen a look of betrayal like that. He realised what was happening all too late as the lady started walking away with him. And he was like, bro, I thought we were tight. What have you done? And he broke and was like crying, and they were like, he'll be fine, see you later. I was like, I'm just going to go. Can you let us know how he gets on? I'll see you later, bye-bye. Oh, absolutely heartbreaking. And I keep saying to people, these are the things that you do for your children, where you have to be the grown-up. You have to be the brave one. You got to be a big, brave boy and do these things, because ultimately, in the long run, it's the best thing for them. But, oh man, absolutely crushing. I could just see his little face in my head all day whilst I'm sat at work like, what did I do? So then I went to get him this evening and I was like, oh, it'll be fine. He'll have been fine all day. And as I'm going upstairs, I can hear a sound. And I was like, I mean, that could be any child that's crying that sounds exactly like my child. And I'd know that cry from a mile away. And I went in and they were very much like, he's had a good day, even though he's not, it doesn't look like he's having a good time now. And he saw me and was like, oh, you've come for me. I imagine that's what prisoners of war looked like when they were rescued. And he just clung on to me and was like, oh, at least we don't have to come back here again. I'm like, mm-hmm. Man. So that is the week, the stuff from the week. I just remembered that I've done something else. So entertainment, the entertainment side of things. Tuesday was a big day for me. Big day, because it was the release of Bert Kreischer's latest special, Razzle Dazzle. Now then, anytime one of my favourite comedians releases a special, this guy's going to be happy about this. If I've been to see this show, though, I'm going to be extra excited. Ooh, yes. And boy, was I counting the days. It was released on Tuesday, and I watched it on Tuesday. And then I watched it again. 2/3 of the stuff on the special is what we saw when we saw him live, which was great. I was really pleased about that. The last third of the special is not from what we saw live. So that was kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's just good. I have this thing that every great comedian has that one great special, a special that defines them. More recently, over the years, I find that there are comedians that have better specials than others. Like Bill Burr's last two specials were absolutely phenomenal. His last special is just the absolute peak comedy. Like I enjoyed Christina P's previous special, but her most recent special is one of the best specials there's ever been. Tom Segura, the one that I saw him live, which when I saw it live I wasn't super impressed. Go back and watch it as a special, absolutely hands down his best special. I've watched it multiple times. And Bert had Secret Time. So a little while ago there was The Machine, which is the one he's famous for. There's then Secret Time, which was always my favourite. Hey Big Boy, which initially I was like, yeah, it was fine. Sometimes when I watch it, I'm like, it's not the strongest special, but it's fine. It's good. Other times I'm like, yeah, it's a good special. The latest one, Razzle Dazzle, is fantastic. It's possibly on par with Secret Time. It's really good. So that's been great to see. I will admit I've seen it 4 times now. It's been out less than a week. Maybe that's a sign. I don't know. I started a TV show that's new. It was released on Friday. The TV show is Agent Elvis on Netflix. Agent Elvis has been created by Priscilla Presley. Elvis is voiced by Matthew McConaughey. Caitlin Olsen does the voice of the female lead in it. Don Cheadle does a voice. Jason Mantzoukas does a voice. It's got a great voice cast. Basically, it's Archer meets Hit Monkey. It's Elvis, and he's got a sidekick who's a monkey. And the monkey's crazy. Drug-fueled, crazy monkey. And Elvis is actually a kick-ass secret agent type person. I've watched 3 episodes, and I'm on the 4th episode. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really liking it. It's really good. It's good to watch. Pop it on the old treadmill while you're running along on the treadmill. It takes your mind off that running. It's good. I enjoy it. I've been enjoying it. I don't foresee me not finishing the series. Not sure whether it's one that's going to have more than one season. I don't know. I don't know how these things work. But for right now, I'm enjoying it. It's good. One of those things, not going to go into too much detail or depth here, but I had a bit of a Guy Ritchie movie marathon. Flicking through Netflix, saw that The Gentleman was there. Now, I was saying to somebody at work today, I was like, seemed to think when The Gentleman came out, I reviewed it as being okay. It was quite good. It was fine. Since it came out and since I reviewed it, it's one of those films that any time I see it as being available to watch, like if it's on Netflix, if it's on Prime, if it's just there in front of me, I always go, The Gentleman. I really like that film. I'm going to watch it. I've seen it multiple times at this point, and I enjoy it every time I watch it. I enjoy it every time. I honestly think Hugh Grant should have got an Oscar for that film. The way he plays that role in that film is fantastic. Charlie Hunnam's great in it. Again, Matthew McConaughey, great in it. Colin Farrell, great in it. Now then, as with these streaming services, they always want you coming back for more. So when it finished, it was like, hey, why don't you watch? And recently I'd been thinking about like the two real cornerstone, the films that sort of launched Guy Ritchie into superstardom, being Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch. I was like, I haven't seen Lock, Stock in years. There is a reason for this, but I haven't seen Lock, Stock in years. If it's on here, I'm going to watch it. And it was. And I put it on and I was like, I wonder if this stands up now. Now then, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, at the time it came out, was one of, if not my favourite film. But it's also from a time where I was obsessed with films. So I just knew everything about it. I'm pretty sure somewhere in this house is a script. A Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels script. That was the level that I was in love with this film. To the point that I was convinced there was a scene in it that when I got to the end I was like, where the hell was that scene? And I realised it was actually a deleted scene from the DVD, which I then had to go and find on the internet so I could watch it in what I felt was the proper version of the film. So I watched Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. The most sensible thing to do after that is to move straight on to Snatch. Which I did. I moved straight on to Snatch. And I watched Snatch. Again, a film that I thoroughly enjoyed at the time, and a film that I haven't seen for a while, but one that I was like, come on, let's see if this stands up. It's one of those, very much like Hugh Grant's part in The Gentleman. You just got to look at Brad Pitt's role in that film. It's just off the charts. So yeah, a little bit of a Guy Ritchie movie marathon. I thought about watching the Wrath of Man, the latest one, but I was a bit like, I've seen it recently and I've seen it a few times. I don't want to be putting it on and regretting it. Computer games wise, I've had a bit of a weird thing recently where I've not been doing my usual things. I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer right now, which is the first non-alcoholic beer I've had in what could be a week. And I've also not really been playing any games. However, I have played games. I think when you play something like Hogwarts Legacy and you kind of finish it, you almost want a bit of a break. And that's kind of where I was at. However, I have been playing the Resident Evil 2 remake. It is not how I remember it, that's for sure. It's been fine, it's been enjoyable. I will hold my hands up on this one and say I found it a little bit unsettling to play. It's a little bit scary. Outside of that, last night I reached a point where I was like, oh, this is why I hate the original Resident Evil films, because I've reached that point where I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing and I've run out of ammo. It's the perfect Resident Evil combination. The point in time that makes you want to smash your head into the TV because you're just like, oh, why? Why do you have to be this way? So, I can almost already see that I'm going to have to go onto the internet to try and find the answer to what I'm actually supposed to be doing at this point in the game. But obviously I'll keep you updated with how that's all going. That is it. That is the week that was the week. I will catch you next time. So there you go, what do you think of that? Another one done, another one gone. Before you leave us, please do consider a like, share, subscribe and comment. Drop reviews where you can. Check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we've got social media links and an email button. That way you can get in touch with us. Join me next time where there'll be more of the games, movies, TV and something from the week. Till then, I'm going to say bye and I'll see you then.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Cookie Cast.